I'm Susan Roberti, and I have a unique and very special guest today. His name is Barry Biondi, and he is the president of the Patriot Riders of Pennsylvania. And how I met Barry a few weeks ago, he volunteered his time to come on to the Tail Waggers, the Let's Talk Tail Waggers. And he came to tell us about the Pets for Vets and how many dogs that his family have adopted, and all the joy and the happiness that they bring when you bring a dear little soul home. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that we do. So Barry, I want to say welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad to see you again.
It's an honor to be here, and I and the Patriot Guard riders and members all across the state would like to thank you for giving us this time to be able to come out and express what we do and define in a finer terms as to what we do and why we do what we do.
Well, BPTV, after I ran out of time like I always do on the Let's Talk Tail Waggers, we all got together at BPTV and decided that we were going to invite you back so that we could do a show about the Patriot Riders of Pennsylvania. So we're going to get started because we got lots to get covered. And Barry wrote me some questions that are important. How can people join?
Joining the Patriot Guard Riders is a very simple task. I would like to take this time right now to read our mission statement, which when you go to our websites, either www.patriotguard.org or www.pgrpa.org.
And we'll show that at the end.
And when you go to that and you read the mission statement, that's the first thing we implore you to do. It basically states the facts that we are who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. And if I can take a minute and I'll briefly read our mission statement, and it's not that long, but we've had numerous people ask us. Okay, the Patriot Guard Riders are a diverse group of people across the nation. We have one thing in common besides motorcycles. We have an unwavering respect for those who risk their very lives for Americans' freedom and security. If you share this respect, please join us. We don't care what you ride or if you ride, what your political views are, or whatever you are, a hawk or a dove. It is not a requirement that you be a veteran. It is a matter where you're from or what your income is. You don't even have to ride. The only prerequisite is respect. And that's our mission statement, and if you agree with it, then by all means, then we encourage you to join. We employ tactics amongst ourselves to restrain each other. We feel that we're all brothers in arms to a degree, and we would like to have everyone act with respect, honor, and dignity. Exactly. Three of the words that we live by.
Exactly. All right, what is the dress code?
Technically, the dress code is no offensive patches or displaying of any material. Our dress code consists of what you would like to wear and what you would prefer to wear. The majority of the people in the Patriot Guard Riders will have a vest similar to this. I prefer pins, other people prefer the patches. I'm not a patch person, I like the pins. It's something that each one of these pins has some significant reference to it. Blue jeans is not out of ordinary for us. It's very comfortable, very during the winter time. You bundle up. You dress in layers. You're going to stand outside in that flag line holding that flag. And we as leaders, and I say leaders, our ride captains, myself, my assistants, we always try to employ tactics that we can possibly, on these cold winter days or these rainy, wet days, we try to get inside. And we try not to impede the visitors on viewing days, and sometimes it's a little difficult things. We have to stand outside, but we're made to do that. We are mentally capable of standing there in a summer heat, in the winter cold, in a dreary rainy days.
And it's all out of respect.
Respect and honor and dignity.
How do I know who is in charge of a mission?
The best way to find out who's in charge in a mission, a particular mission, is to go to the staging areas, and this is where all information is delivered. The times, the dates, what we're going to do from moment to moment, keeping our members totally briefed to the point where they know exactly what they're going to do when they have to do it. The state captain, myself, I wear a red hat. National people, the people above me, wear black hats and black shirts. People below me, my ride captains, they wear a burgundy hat.
Oh.
Our Hoth director wears a green hat. One below that is our regular standard members, who is the greatest people in the world, wear blue hats. And it's basically a color-coded system so people know who we are. I have my 2 assistant ride captains, and I want them to wear the red hats. Simply because there's times that I'll not be able to be at a mission, and they will. They will take total control. Once I assign a mission to a ride captain, he's in charge of it. I will only step in to make a change here or there if he is negligent or he actually skips a performance. Then I will come back in and politely and gently I will suggest. I'm not demanding. I don't think you achieve much by that. But that's basically how you can find out who's in charge at what particular time.
How do people find out about your missions?
Our missions are posted in 2 different areas, and we also employ what's called a statewide. And what transpires here is, if there's a mission coming up and you go on to www.pgrpa.org, Pennsylvania website, we have listings for East and West for missions, and you click on West. That will take you into a calendar form. You will go down and you'll find the date and you'll find the mission. You click on it, it will take you back to the original postings in National and give you all the pertinent information, who it is, where it is, and what time it is. It's a very complex system, but a very efficient system. We, as Patriot Guard riders, do not have meetings. We do not have dues. All we have is the desire to honor and respect with dignity. The people, it's amazing, they do get onto the websites. They do find out this information. As I said earlier about the statewides, we employ those for short notice missions where we have to get the information out. When I send a short notice out, it will go out to everybody in the state of Pennsylvania, and if I list Ohio and West Virginia, it will go to every member in West Virginia and Ohio. And the ones that can make that mission will make that mission.
Wow.
There's been an awful lot of missions that we've had to go into New York. We've gone into Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio. We, as the Patriot Guard riders, have no borders. We travel when we can and as often as we can to support these missions for our fellow riders. One of the biggest areas that I think needs some clarification, I'm going to go back in a little bit and read our history, but for right now, when the Patriot Guard riders first got started, they were American Legion riders, quote, riders. They themselves used the motorcycle tool to employ people. They reached out to motorcycle groups and clubs, and this is where, and I don't agree with it. This is where the concept of motorcycles came involved with the Patriot Guard riders. It's a tool. It's a way to get there. December and January, we don't ride our motorcycles. I mean, let's face reality.
I don't imagine you would either.
We're in a car. We're going to get to the mission regardless. It doesn't, that's a means of transportation. It's an enjoyable means of transportation, but it is not a sole entity that you have to have. We want people to join that don't have motorcycles. We want people to join that aren't veterans. We want people to join that aren't males.
Oh, that was a question I was going to ask you, if the ladies are involved in this too.
In fact, I have a ride captain and a Hoth director who is a female, and she is efficient.
Wow.
She's fantastic. And there's been other women, and there's a lot of the women are ride captains. There's no discrimination in our organization. We basically, we utilize everything we have as far as people are concerned. And we use them to our best ability.
And this is all to help to take care of the families.
Take care of the families, make sure this soldier has everything coming to him that he solely deserves.
Truly.
Surely, I mean, we are there for the family. Unfortunately, I'm not going to elaborate much on this, but we'll get uninvited guests, and I think everybody kind of knows what I'm referring to, but I refuse to utilize their name.
Very good.
They come and they destroy and they try to disrupt the funeral, and this is part of the Patriot Guard. This is not the sole purpose of the Patriot Guard, but we are there to protect and shield, I use the word shield, the families. We've had instances where they were there. We've had instances where the families asked particular questions about a phase of the mission where the deceased left in his will that he did not want his immediate family photographed. They asked us, how could we stop this?
Oh, really?
So we got,
wow.
oh, yeah, there's some very off the wall.
Detailed.
Detailed.
Really detailed.
They asked us what we could do. And I said, well, I'll get 8 people and we'll surround the family and we'll hold our flags tail to tail. And we made a complete circle around them. I mean, all they could see was their feet. And they were very elated about it, the family. I've had certain circumstances where I've been interviewed by a family. They knew of the Patriot Guard, but what had happened was the news media had literally beat them to death. Aww. Just barrages of questions, barrages of intrusions. And when our CAO, our Casualty Assistance Officer, when he came about and we made contact with him, that's when he explained to the family who we were. Well, they wouldn't give us permission until they talked to us.
Do you think the media really means to be so rude?
Yes.
Oh.
There are many other ways that could be employed that would benefit everybody, but
I believe so, because if you have lost anyone or even had anyone in your family in the service, which I showed you, that my 3 brothers and fathers on this wall, you just have this inside you, this respect and honor. It's, you know, and when they play the national anthem, you think of them and the tears, and you know, I just really don't understand why the media has to just be so rude.
Well, I wished I had an answer, and I mean this in all sincerity. The news media has stayed away from the Patriot Guard riders. When we first started doing these missions, they want to know who we were, they want to know what we were doing, they want to know this and that. Now they want to hear what we're going to do to the UGs. They don't care about why we're there and with the honor and respect. I've done numerous interviews, and they've never showed them. They want me to stand up there and say, we're going to go out there and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to cause this trouble, that trouble. No. That's not what we do.
That's not what you do.
And what we do, technically, is not news.
No.
We're not there for news. We're not there to...
well, let's put it this way. It's good news.
It is good news.
It's
very good
what
news.
You gentlemen do.
And this is why I'm so elated to be here with this, because people are going to see this and they're going to have an understanding.
About how wonderful all of you are. Got to get the next question. You already covered about the motorcycle. That if you don't have a motorcycle, you can have a car, train, plane, horse, anything.
You can walk. It wouldn't matter as long as you get there, and you can hold a flag is exactly what we're looking for.
And what is required of a person to join the PGR?
The only requirement, basically what we have is that once again, we're going back to the honor and the respect and dignity. We want you to be able to stand and hold a flag, a 3x5 flag. We in Pennsylvania, we're quite fortunate. We have enough flags for each region. There's like 15 flags per region, and everybody else carries their own flag. So we supply flags to those who don't have them. And we also like to emphasize when you are doing a mission and you are on a flag line, if it is extremely hot, we expect you to take frequent breaks and drink a lot of water. The same thing happens in the winter. We have some rules for the flag line. We're allowed to drink water, and that's the extent of it. But to the degree of no coffee, no pop, especially no liquor, by all means.
Yeah.
That's
You
forbidden
don't even
by
have
every
to
degree.
say that.
Right. But being able to stand a flag line, and we don't talk during that portion of it.
And I would imagine after you do that one time, the joy that you have inside would stay with you all the days of your life.
Absolutely. I've done, believe it or not, including KIAs and veterans and first responders, I have over 200 missions that I've done. And what you're saying is absolutely true. I was very, very excited with the first person that I ever attended was a specialist friend. And he's near and dear to me, but there are a lot of others that you think about. You can sit in the silence and just remember certain aspects of things that happened. And it's amazing what you get out of it.
Humbles you.
It does. I've got some Vietnam veteran friends who are they have the PSTD, and believe it or not, we've been on missions, and an aircraft would fly over, and you could see that they were frightened a little bit, and they feel that these missions are therapeutic to them.
But they stayed there.
They stay.
And that's what gives them strength each time. The
strength comes from, I say us, our fellow brothers, our veterans who are there for one purpose and one purpose only, and they know that. And this is a therapeutic issue for them.
Yes, and they draw strength from all of it.
They do. They certainly
really
do.
And
there's pride.
Yes.
Great pride.
Great pride. All righty. Tell us about the boy in Wellsburg, West Virginia.
Everybody have Kleenex?
Got your Kleenexes, folks? I've been crying all through this. I got mine.
The situation was that this young captain was KIA in Iraq, and he himself knew of the PGR and left instructions to contact us. Well, we went to the funeral, and the whole town was out, all the way up to the cemetery, which is probably 8 miles away from where we were. But getting back to we were on the flag line. There was probably 80 personnel there from all walks of life, standing holding them flags, rigid, just staring dead ahead. The aunt brings a little son out. He was no more than 3, I'm going to say 3.5 tops. He looked down at the crowd and surveyed the whole situation. He says to his aunt, "Why are these men and women standing here?" And she says to him, "They're here to honor your father." He said, "I want to go down and meet every one of them." And I swear to this day, that little boy started on one end.
Oh, my.
And as he walked on, he'd put his hand out. He'd say his name. He'd ask you your name.
Oh, my.
All the way down the road. It was so heart-wrenching. And he knew what he was doing. He was not coaxed. He knew what he was doing.
Well, then, I think they hear so much. The parents, or people around them are talking about this, and they absorb it.
They do.
They do, and they really understand that it's a very important time.
We had members. We carried these are mission completed pins.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that or not. Each mission you complete, you're supposed to have another pin where they come out with 10 missions with a 10 emblem on it, 20, 30, and 40 that you can have.
Wow.
I represent one. And to me, this one is for every one of them, not just that. When that little boy ended up at the end, he had more of these than you could shake a stick at. Every one of us took ours off and handed it to him.
Sweet.
But I'll tell you what, that was a very, very moving.
And he'll always have those to remember his dad.
And he'll always remember what he did there as well. I mean, it is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. All righty, is there any other questions on here?
That's pretty much summed it up what I thought you might want to...
All righty, well, how about... you've answered all my questions too. What else would you like to tell us?
I have a few things.
There's wonderful, wonderful things.
I'm going to give you a brief history on a Patriot Guard riders. I'm not going to go into complete full details. It's a little lengthy.
Oh, and before you do that, how many are there in Pennsylvania and
all throughout the nation?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania holds right now, to this date, 5,400 members.
Wow.
And that's from one end of the state to the other, and both sides.
Now, what about across the
National,
country?
I checked this morning before I left, it's 262,557 members
Amazing.
that's involved in it. And
That's amazing. Okay, go ahead and read our.
the history of the Patriot Guard Riders started in August of 2005. There were some American Legion riders out of Chapter 136 from Kansas, and they had heard of this fallen hero had passed away, and these people, these UGs, and that's as furthest I'm going on that aspect, that were out there demonstrating at this gentleman's funeral. Well, it didn't sit well with them. So these four gentlemen started looking and trying to get information on other soldiers that were coming back and trying to find out what this other group was trying to do. And in August, there were four different people, as I had said, had band together, and they kind of formed up a little bit of a mission statement, not the one we employ today, but one that's similar to it, very similar to it. And by January of the following year, now you're talking from August to January, they were already national by this time.
Everyone were just waiting.
They were waiting for something to happen to stop, I shouldn't say stop, to combat those UGs and what they were doing.
Together. Oh my.
Once that started happening, and then they employed people within the structure of the state, they called them state captains, and then the state captains himself was out looking for and recruiting people to become members and become leaders as well, ride captains and such. And within a matter of 1 year, we were stabilized, and we were on our way to great success. And to this day,
with the grace of God, and there
absolutely,
you went.
Absolutely. You can say this as much as you want to, but I think he had a great hand in what we did,
Sure
and why we did what we did. And
sure, he was sitting up there just waiting for the right time to turn it on.
absolutely, these guys had about 3 or 4 different situations that they attended, and they were motivated. And what they did, they employed, as I said earlier, they employed other motorcycle groups, and the center hub at that particular time was the motorcycle. Today it's not. And I think it's overemphasized a lot in different areas. We'll go to a police station and the secretary will say, "Oh, you're that motorcycle gang." First off, every time we have a meeting with anybody, we always explain we are not a motorcycle gang, we're not a motorcycle group. We are the Patriot Guard Riders. I have a back patch on of Patriot Guard Riders. I only am allowed to wear that back patch to a mission, during a mission, and returning home from a mission.
Well, sometimes maybe we have to forgive them because they really don't know what gracious and wonderful people you are.
This is true, and we've taken that in consideration. We've had people walk up right off the street and hand us donations.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing. It is. Once people realize who and what we are, but then on the other side of the coin, they forget a lot of times who and what we are and what we do. One of our weakest areas, believe it or not, is Allegheny County.
Really? I find that hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very hard to believe.
Well, Barry, guess what?
Is that time already? Oh, I still didn't get it all in yet.
I know. Look, I promise we'll do another show. I promise.
Oh my, I've got so much material here, but
I know, but we wanted to get out the really, really, really good parts of the important parts that the people out there need to know how good and kind and wonderful you are. And I want to say to you that from all of us at BPTV, we love you, we respect you, and we thank you. And most of all, God bless.
If I might make a note, we will be back here on Memorial Day, that Monday.
Remember Memorial Day.
Susie, in recognition of her community service and her humane society and her continuous support of the Patriot Guard Riders, we'd like to present you with this plaque.
Oh.
It's all for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. This to me, it means everything in the whole wide world.
Well, you have to understand what you've given us is another tool that we've never had exposure to, and this is going to lead to great things,
I
I'm
wasn't
sure.
going to cry. you tell everyone, all 200,000 of them, that I love them. They're always welcome in my heart. If there's anything I can ever do again for you, you just call BPTV and call Susie Roberti, and I'll be there.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you so very, very much. Well, I guess it is time to say goodbye. And how I want to end is to say, let's all pray for the troops. God bless.
Hi, I'm John Bauer, and I'm here to talk about sudden cardiac arrest. Heart disease, including sudden cardiac arrest, is the nation's #1 killer. Sudden cardiac arrest happens when the heart suddenly stops beating. This may be from a heart attack or a number of other causes. Whatever the cause, without immediate action, the sufferer will die. You can take action against sudden cardiac arrest. If you see someone suddenly collapse and it looks like they aren't breathing normally, you need to act immediately. First call 911 or your local emergency number. Then start immediate chest compressions. Place your hands in the middle of the chest and begin to push forcefully and rapidly, at least 100 times a minute. If anyone else is nearby, have them relieve you after 2 minutes. Keep taking turns. If you're in a public place, ask someone to get an AED. When it arrives, open it up and follow the voice instructions. Don't stop chest compressions until the AED tells you to. Keep going until rescuers arrive. Sudden cardiac arrest is survivable if immediate action is taken. You can make a difference. To learn more or to learn CPR, contact Tri-Community South EMS at 412-831-3710. Be a lifesaver. Learn CPR.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We work relentlessly within our 4 pillars of service, and we succeed. Go to legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.